among living organisms. One type of evidence for evolution is that organisms are similar to each other but not exactly the same. Similar organisms have differences that help them adapt to their environment. Many organisms have similar body plans. Horses, donkeys, and zebras' bodies are set up in pretty much the same way because they are descended from a common ancestor. As organisms adapt and evolve, not everything about them changes. The differences, such as the zebra stripes, show that each species adapted to its own environment after branching off from the common ancestor. The bodies of deer, moose, zebras, and horses are very similar, and these animals are very closely related. One major difference is that deer and moose have antlers, and zebras and horses don't. Deer and moose live alone or in small groups, while zebras and horses are in large herds. Living in a herd provides its own protection from enemies. It is easier to attack an individual than a huge herd. Therefore, herd-living animals do not need the antlers that their loner relatives need for protection. In addition, running or grazing with large antlers is hard to do in a herd, where it is easy to accidentally stab one's neighbor. On the other hand, all insects have heads, abdomens, and thoraxes, antennae, 6 legs, and wings. However, each species is different, and while all insects have wings, some have small, useless wings because their environments did not force them to evolve or because their wings become harmful to survival. Similarities are often easy to see when one looks at two organisms that evolved from a common ancestor, and until recently, looking at physical features and behavior was the only way to determine how closely related two organisms are. However, now scientists can also analyze DNA to discover how closely organisms are related. Every living creature has DNA, which has a lot of inherited information about how the body builds itself. Scientists can compare the DNA of two organisms. The more similar the DNA, the more closely related the organisms. This method can also help when looks are deceptive. One example of looks being deceptive is the bat and the crow both have wings and the squirrel does not. From this, one may think that bats and crows are more closely related than bats and squirrels, while the opposite is indeed the case. DNA testing is a tool that Darwin never had, but it has helped scientists after him to learn and discover a lot about evolution.